everyone, it's Chris Bennett, your blockchain beard guy. Hope everyone's doing good. Hey, I wanted to start addressing something. In the past few months, really since about the start of 2019, there's been a very, from my point of view, noticeable shift in the conversations around blockchain. And there's still a lot of conversations about the technology and what it means and how it works. But what's been added to the dialogue relatively recently is a lot of business-focused conversations about, what does this technology mean to my business, to my industry? How does it change my customer experience? How does it enable new ways of integrating with existing business partners, etc.? And then big questions like, hey, we really think blockchain or another piece of emerging tech is a good fit. We've got some very clearly identified use cases. Organizationally, we think they're worth exploring. But how do we reasonably set and manage expectations with stakeholders and senior management in the organization? And these are conversations around technology, but not technology focused. And they're big questions. There's a lot to unpack there. And so I want to start exploring that with all of you here on LinkedIn. But I wanted to start today by talking about a role that I think oftentimes is overlooked or neglected in the organization. And that's a shame, because that's really where the process of organizational transformation and modernization begins with respect to a technology. And that role is the business architect. Let me explain what I mean and kind of how it all fits in. If you look at the most technically focused people in the organization, your developers, your engineers, your administrators, these are people we can kind of think of as being 80% focused on technology, 20% on the business. What they're really focused on is being handed a solution or an architecture, and being responsible for figuring it out and actually bringing that solution to life, breathing life into it. As we kind of move up the scale of business versus technical focus, that's when we get to the technical solutions architect. And this is very often the architect that you hear about in IT roles. This is someone who really, in my mind, has a 50-50 split. They're focused half on business concerns, half on technology concerns. And they are really the bridge in the enterprise between the technical side of the house and the business side of the house. They marry up those two concerns. Then the role that really gets neglected is the business architect, the person who has a maybe 80% focus on business concerns, business strategy, current marketplace conditions, etc., and about a 20% focus on technology. High-level understanding of what technology is available, what can it do, what kind of difference can it make, etc., etc. And that's a very, very important role, because it is really up to this business architect to understand the impact that technologies are going to have and work with senior leadership in an organization to define business objectives. You really want to make sure anytime you're bringing new technology into the fold that you're letting your business objectives drive your IT strategy, not the other way around. That's why so many of these projects can feel overwhelming, confusing, doomed to failure, cost overrun, scope creep, etc. So good question to ask yourself, who's this business architect in your organization? Let me give you an example. This business architect is someone who understands that technology is enabling this trend of the gig economy. And as time goes on, organizationally, we're probably going to have fewer and fewer full-time employees. We're probably going to hire out more and more microservices for micro payments to small independent contractors, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, etc. So that person is responsible for connecting the dots and understanding, hey, right now, one of our our short-term objectives is to replace our aging HR management system. And so we're currently shopping around, seeing what's available. I need to have a conversation with senior leadership and explain that one of our buying parameters needs to be the flexibility of the system to engage many contractors for small services and make very quick payments, ideally real-time payments, because our traditional net 30, net 60 just isn't going to work in this future gig economy. So aligning short, mid, and long-term business objectives with the changing marketplace. And like I said, this is really where the conversation around adopting technology in an organization needs to begin. It's very common to ask, and it's still a valid question to ask, well, how is this technology, blockchain, IoT, AI, etc., being used in my industry, oil and gas, real estate, banking and finance, etc.? And those are valid questions, but until you and everyone at your organization has a clear understanding of what your business objectives are, those answers don't have as much relevance. And that kind of brings me to my final point. Whatever you align on organizationally as your business objectives, make sure those are shared. Very often these are conversations that happen among senior leadership, and they're not widely broadcasted, and they need to be. The mission statement is not the same thing as your business objectives. Your mission statement should be relatively timeless. It should change very, very infrequently, whereas business objectives can change all the time in response to changing market conditions, new technologies, moves made by competitors, etc. So make sure everyone in your business understands what those objectives are. Otherwise, it's unreasonable to ask that everyone in your organization maintain alignment towards them. So that's it. Let me know if you find this kind of content useful. If so, I think like I said, there's a lot of questions here to unpack, and some ones that are really worth talking about amongst the larger group. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. How is your organization approaching adopting these big emerging technologies? What kind of strategies have you seen work, not work, etc.? I'd love to hear in the comments. Until next time, this is Chris Bennett, your blockchain beard guy. Hope you guys are having a great day.